understand it. You don't have to understand it.
I don't have to understand it. I'm asking you to.
No, and I choose not to.
All right, so we can leave it there. So just leave it there.
Yeah, that's what I've been telling you. I don't know what it is with Zayed or not. I don't know what it is with people feeling like they have to understand somebody's boundary. If I tell you that I don't want you to do something to me, respect that. You don't need a full-blown explanation as to why I said no. No is no.
Okay.
But the way that they behave toward Black women that's what gets me. I just can't. He literally sat there and said that we are not feminine. No, you don't get to say anything right now because I am going to say what I need to say.
Go ahead.
It was gross. He came in here and he sat here and gave us some kind of y'all already know that is a boundary. You already know that. But he came in here with that. When we told him to stop, he wouldn't. And then I kept asking him what it was that he was subscribing to or what he believed in, and he kept on going all around the world,
Answer the question.
No, because you look what you're doing to me now.
The same thing you did to him.
No. I kept asking him the question. Had he answered the question that I was asking and not gone around the world, okay, and gone around and all over the place, follow the yellow brick road, okay, then I wouldn't have to keep asking him why he's not answering the question. But he kept doing it.
Why don't
and then he had the nerve to sit up here and call Black women not feminine. You can laugh all you want to. It ain't funny to me. It's funny for Black women to be disrespected.
We know.
You agree with it.
We know what y'all think of us. There is no reason for us to respect you. None. You laughed at what he said. You laughed at it. You laughed at it. You laughed at it.
No, I didn't.
There is no reason for us to respect you. None. And as you said in my lives, you said in the comments, you've seen how we treat men who respect us with mutual respect. That there is no reason for me to respect a man who does not respect me at all.
Well, look at your friend down there in the comments, the horrible things he's saying. Are you going to Mr. PA?
What are you talking about, Carla?
The guy that's right there talking all bunch of stuff about women, about Black women. Are you going to stand up since y'all sit up here as they were the fountain of life?
What are you talking about, Queen? That's what I'm saying. Like who?
Let me see.
Ew.
The sunshine. You're sunshine. Yeah, go look at all the comments of sunshine. Go correct your people.
They only want to check us. They only want to check each other.
You came up here to protect them.
No, I didn't. Don't say that.
You sure did.
You've been in the comments.
Look, Bud.
Going what?
Look at Bud, like.
Yeah, that's why he came up here.
Who?
You came up here to protect him. You immediately started protecting him. Let him talk. Y'all won't let him talk. Y'all keep doing this. Yes, you did. And then you laughed. At what he said before he got off.
I did not laugh at him being disrespectful to you.
Yes, you did. I heard you laugh. I took note.
No, I'm saying like.
Yeah, we heard it.
What did he say that was disrespectful that I laughed at?
What you agreed with.
Which was what?
What you agreed with?
Come on.
Yeah, we all heard.
Why are you acting obtuse right now? Very disingenuous.
Because that's what they do.
Who is they? What they are you grouping me with?
Disrespectful men. Disrespectful men.
I've disrespected you?
Yes, you did.
When?
We're so manipulative. Listen.
Yeah, very. And then the emotional labor that they try to make us do by reciting to them what they did. Like, I'm not doing that.
Crazy.
Exactly. I'm not doing that. Yo, you're so manipulative. You know what you're doing, bro.
I don't get what you're saying.
Either just shut up and get off the live. Like, don't sit up here and act like you don't.
You're talking about
you have amnesia. You don't have amnesia. I'm not your mom, bro. I don't like kids. I don't like young kids. Young men. I'm not a fan.
With you. I didn't come at you disrespectful in
no
kind of way.
I didn't know about you like in 2 seconds because Thinker's nice. And
she is nice. I never said she wasn't.
Carola, chef's kiss, not me. Okay. Not me.
Good for you. I'm
not here to play games with you. I don't like when little dudes act obtuse, try to gaslight. I have zero respect for that at my workplace. And I definitely don't have any respect on my personal time. And I don't like you using up Thinker's time with this conversation.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome.
Zion, welcome to the live.
Thank you.
Did you want to defend?
Thank
Sorry
you.
about that. Did you want to defend the bullets on the screen?
I was trying to think. Some life. So you want me? So you're asking for people to defend Jesus and the things that he said that you have listed on the screen.
Well,
in terms
not necessarily defend it. Most Christians come in here highly upset because I called them 5 broken promises. But these are 5 things that Jesus said before he left. In asking Christians, just asking to have a conversation. I mean, we will ask questions based off of your interpretation of it or your explanation of why these things did not happen.
Okay. I would just say, and this is just my initial thought right now, lack of faith.
A lack of faith?
Yes.
So you're saying that with the one that Jesus said, I will do anything, I'll do anything you ask in my name. It's not happening because people have a lack of faith?
Yeah. In other words, that they're not really connecting to Jesus in faith, and they have a less than truthful or genuine connection to Jesus through faith.
Can I ask why you're saying they and instead of we? Are you a Christian?
Oh, you know what? I am a Christian. Christian, but I'm saying I have a genuine.
Do you have the faith and they don't? Is that why you're saying they? Because you have enough faith for it to work for you and they don't?
I would say that I have in a moment of time I've had enough faith, but not in every single moment do I have enough faith. No. But in a moment, there's a moment that I think that I have been able to ask something of God and it was done. But not every moment.
Decent answer. That's a decent answer to say in a moment of time that sometimes I've had faith and sometimes I haven't. I can't rebuttal that. What about number 2? When Jesus said, "Truly I say unto you, that there are some of you standing here today that shall not taste death until you see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom." Shouldn't they be alive today?
Okay. I haven't reviewed that context of that scripture in any type of preparation way for this. I probably have heard that or read it before. And so I can have a general remembrance of it. So really, I'm just going based on the bullet point here. So basically, I think what it's saying is that Jesus told people that they would still be alive when he comes back, and to see him come back, and therefore, obviously, with the time passing, they're not alive anymore today to see him come back. So therefore, that didn't come true.
Yeah, he said they would not taste death until that happened. So, that means that they would still be alive even if it took 4,000 years.
Okay. So I think that there's a general Christian answer for that. And I haven't independently thought about that specifically, so I don't know if I can give you an answer that's different than that traditional answer that they've decided is correct. Which is, I think I remember it possibly saying that there was some event that happened, like the fall of Rome or something, or the fall of the temple, that
but that's
represented that.
We know that that's talking about the Roman Empire, but Jesus was talking about him coming back. He said the Son of Man in his kingdom. Now, we know in this room that that's talking about Titus Flavian and the Rome conquering Jerusalem. The Son of Man in this text is Titus Flavian. We know that, but Christians don't. Christians think the Son of Man is Jesus Christ. So, with that being Jesus Christ saying that, shouldn't those people he was talking to still be alive?
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a question I might still have to ask and understand, because I don't think I've thought enough about that particular bullet point in the context of that, where it comes from, to say that I have a different answer than what's already been given.
That's
by
fair
the Christians.
Too. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So the other three, you may not have context either because they're from the same text. The same, if 2 or 3 ask in my name, it will be done, and I will be there with you. Are you familiar with that one?
Okay, that's kind of like same as the first one too, very similar, right? So, let me think. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I've ever had.
They're similar. This one is saying that if you the touch and agree.
Mm-hmm.
If you touch and agree, there's more power, and God will do it because it's 2 or 3 of you all touching and agreeing.
Okay, I think that I've had a problem connecting with Christians as well, other Christians in faith. And so I'm trying to think. I'm not saying that I haven't had an experience where other Christians that I've shared a genuine experience. I'm pretty sure I probably have, at least once or a few times. And I think my answer to this would be, it has to be according to it has to be kind of like approved by purpose, like that there's a specific goal that God has for the earth and for us on the earth, and that, in other words, it has to kind of align with that goal, and it's like we kind of activate that.
How would a Christian know ahead of time if it aligns with the goal?
I think,
and if that is the case, then what's the purpose of praying? What's the purpose of 2 or 3 gathering together? Like, how would the Christian know?
I think, for instance, like I would say an example that comes to my head would be, I think that a lot of Christians, when they talks about asking Jesus for something, they'll say, "Oh, please help me get a new car," or "Let me get," there's something materialistic, something like that helps them live a more stylish or better life, in our economy, in our. I'm from the United States, so in the United States, as far as I know, and so to me, I think that's a little bit immature. Because I think what Jesus is saying is you have to kind of basically let God know, let Jesus know that you are choosing to submit to him in his will, and that and by doing so you have to kind of show him maturity in faith, that you know him well enough, or you've learned enough about him to eventually ask for what it is that he desires for you. Like it's kind of like it's about searching for that knowledge from God and then asking for it, and then in a way, if you kind of try hard enough, you get you kind of go through a trial or a tribulation that kind of like makes you become more mature in whatever way that Jesus desires for you to be that person that he's in, for you to know what it is that he desires for you, and then he can approve it.
So
a lack of maturity, a lack of faith, a lack of preparation, a lack of activation for that, asking in his name, even including maybe healing someone, including.
So are you saying that there are people that 2 or 3 people can lay their hands on somebody and be healed?
I think it's possible, yes. Now, I do think that a lot of people, I do think like, I don't want to just automatically call someone a fake, but I do think that it seems that a lot of people do fake it for prosperity.
Don't you think that is dangerous when people are told not to go to the doctor because all they have to do is have hands laid on them and they're healed?
Yeah, I've heard that as well. Like, I went through that as a Christian, where the church I was going to, or the people in the church, kind of presumed authority, and kind of said that like true faith will heal you, and I personally have been healed by God, so I know it's real for me for sure, and.
So you were healed without medicine, without doctor intervention?
Right. They did. Okay. They entered into my body and did open heart surgery.
I said without. Like, who is there? Are you saying the angels?
The spirit, the angels, the spirit, whatever it was, the Holy Spirit, whatever it was, godly for sure. Whatever that godly power was. So probably the Holy Spirit and the angels. They entered inside of me. And they performed surgery on me to fix my heart. Because I had activated purpose and desire. And that was in alignment with their will. And so they wanted to keep. I feel like possibly that's the reason why they allowed me to be healed. Because they wanted me to stay alive to fulfill that purpose. So that I could do what it is that I asked in their name. But according to their purpose.
So, what did they heal? What was wrong with your heart?
Well, see, now here's the complication, right? Because I can't give you a medical report. Like I can't give you like a doctor's diagnosis, which you could read as a medical report for it. But I believe that I had a heart attack, and I had some damage from a heart attack.
How do you know that the damage was there? How do you know you had a heart attack and that there was damage? Like, what do you mean you believe that?
I don't think I can prove it to you if that's what you're asking for, but I can just tell you what happened.
What made you feel like you had heart damage?
I went. Have you ever heard of those? Man, this is gonna be kind of vulnerable, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all. Have you ever heard of those Rhino Pills?
Oh, Rhino
Sorry,
Pills.
I'm getting a little shy. Have you heard of those Rhino Pills?
No.
So man, let me see who's on this live. Okay, I was married, and my wife said that my penis, I don't know if I can say that, my member downstairs wasn't getting hard enough. So I went to the store. I went to the store and I grabbed a pill. No, I did like a Google. I either did a Google research or I heard something and it said that this was the pill was dangerous and that it was being banned right now by the FDA and don't take it. I think I did a Google search on it or something. But I took it anyways. And not only did I take it, but I took a second one right away. And then as soon as I took the second one, I felt something jerk inside my chest. I don't know what that was, but I thought it was like I felt like it was like some type of heart attack. Something. It was a big, huge jerk inside my heart. That's what I felt anyways. But I survived it. It wasn't like I didn't die. I didn't get hurt. It wasn't like I was, I didn't, I don't know the difference. And again, this is my perception because I didn't get a report, but I felt like something got damaged right there from that second pill.
Were you in pain after that, or did God heal you that same night?
No, God didn't heal me that same day because I wasn't even talking in faith. So I wasn't about faith at that moment in time. That's my only thought in my head about that was true, that could have been a heart attack. I thought about it at that time, and I didn't saw the labels, and I knew that it was a dangerous pill and that it was even being banned by the FDA. And I took not one, which they said don't even take one. I took two. And so that was just a story, right? And then later in life, a few years later, that was a few years ago. Later, I felt that's when the experience of faith happened. So that was a separate experience. And so again, it's just kind of all my own perception. Now, what I do want to say,
I'm still trying to. I guess I'm still trying to figure out, like, after you took it and you felt that jerk.
Yes, I felt like a jerk in my chest, like something like it felt like something like ripped, or like something inside of me was like something happened, like a huge jerk inside of me in my chest.
Did you get sick after that or something?
I never sought help. No, I never sought help.
Did you get sick after that? Like, after the jerk in your chest that night, did you like get sick over time, and that they needed to do open heart surgery or something?
No, I never ever had anything else to confirm that happened. So I'm not sure if it's just my imagination. I don't think it's my imagination because I wouldn't really acknowledge it to myself. And I certainly have never told this story to anyone. This is actually my first time telling the story. But so I haven't had a need to go around telling people this story, you know. So it is something that I really thought about for myself and tried to understand it myself. And so this is only my way. This is only what I thought about it myself.
Yeah, like I'm not, one that's gonna tell you that wasn't God. Like, if you believe that was God that protected you and kept you alive.
Right. So another time though, I believe that they entered inside my chest. I felt all of a sudden, and it was, I wonder to this day, was it from another Christian woman in her praying for me? I kind of asked God that because I was talking to a Christian woman. This was when I started having faith. I started like searching for faith and asking for faith. And there's a whole long story for that, but that's just to sum it up. And anyways, I was online on Facebook, and I was talking to these women that were proclaiming the power of God and being genuine. Like they seemed to be like genuine people that were claiming they had the power of faith of God and stuff. And so I believe them to be like genuine Christians. I asked if they were praying for me, but not specifically for my healing, but just to pray to see if I was a good man for a marriage for one of them. Not because we had any private conversations about that or anything, but just I think in the general prayer, they were just wondering who I was and if I was suitable for a marriage or whatnot. And then, shortly after that, I was sitting down, and then all of a sudden I felt my whole chest rise up. Have you ever taken like a big, huge, deep breath and then like your whole chest rises up? It was like my whole chest had risen up even higher than that a little bit. but I didn't take it. It wasn't because I was taking a breath. And so it felt like something had entered my body, like a spirit. And I thought, like, I keep an open mind. So I was asking if it was aliens, obviously, to myself. I said, is this aliens doing this right now? And they were literally doing something inside of me right there while I was sitting. It didn't require, I remember the whole thing. So it was very painless. It was very flawless. It was only a movement of my, like, and a feeling that there was something inside of me that was not from me, that was outside of me, that had entered inside of me, but like a spirit. Because that's the only thing I could describe it, because it wasn't like a robot or nothing like that. It was like some type of energy that had went inside of me. And so I had asked God, I said, I wonder if those women were praying for me to see if I was a suitable mate and whether or not I could become a suitable mate for a good Christian woman. And I think that's all I have to think. That's all I kind of remember about that. And I just related it back. And I think I related it back to that time I took that pill, that second pill. And I said, I wonder if that's what was happening, that they had found some type of residual damage or weakness inside of me, and they were fixing that. Because I did pray for longevity. I prayed for longevity and youth again. So, but that was my story regarding that. Now, what that really means, I'm still open-minded about it to ask God. Now, genuinely, I truly feel that that's what happened. That's why I stated as such. But I also I do question, like, was it aliens? That's one of my biggest questions. Something did happen both times. So when I took the second pill, something did happen. I felt some type of, rip or something inside of me, jerk or rip or whatever. And then the second time I felt a spirit enter inside of me. Something felt like it entered inside of me, raised my chest. And like raised kind of...
How far along was this? Like,
that was a few years, like 3 years.
And you reverted that back to that?
That was I did, yeah.
Heart damage for 3 years?
I'm not... Right, and I'm not sure. I didn't research heart damage or anything, but as far as I would know, it's possible to have like kind of like minor... Like you could have a minor stroke and still like live on like nothing happened. You could have like a minor heart attack and live on like nothing's happened, but it weakens you. It weakens your body in some way, and perhaps it makes you more susceptible in the future to an attack or to being more hurt by an attack or something. So I'm not sure if that's what it was. It obviously wasn't a major...
You think these women were praying for you far away?
I asked if I thought that they were basically what they were doing was... It wasn't from a personal or private conversation between us, so it wasn't like a relationship or anything. And so I don't even... Still to this day, I've never spoken to them in person. It was just from a general conversation, kind of like what we're having, but even less because it was only through comments, a few comments on Facebook. And I feel like they prayed for me because, and then that's where I attribute the power of the healing coming from, not from my faith, but from their faith, like from their power, like from them asking God to whatever they asked them, whatever they prayed for, they might, and for God honoring that, in doing that for me, potentially to help me become a man. Yeah, to be a man suitable for a good Christian woman and in good health and in good strength and stuff like that. And so they found something in me that was damaged, and I think they fixed it. That's what I'm saying. So basically, they healed me. Yeah.
I have some questions because you said you got the pills. That you were warned about the pills, and in that warning, you took 2. For your wife, and then you wrapped it back around to say that these women were trying to find out if you're suitable. Did your wife divorce you or something?
Yeah, we got divorced.
Okay.
We got divorced.
Missed that part.
So the pills didn't save me. That's one thing I thought. That's one thing I thought, man. The pills didn't save me, and I almost died. I'm probably going to die from this. When I felt that jerk, I said, "Wow, the pills didn't save me." And I'm gonna die. Like, and I thought how silly I was for almost killing myself for a woman. But if that, in case if that was really what was happening, which it felt like it was. And it was an unusual experience for me. That's the only way I could describe it. And I didn't seek it for glory. I've never told anyone this really. I've never even been able to establish a platform to tell someone this. And in fact, I wasn't even planning on saying this until you kind of led me in by wanting me to answer the questions here. And I just kind of thought about it, and I said, well, that's the only real. That's one of the, like, probably the only. I'm gonna say, like, just in general. Right now, maybe there's another experience I've had, but not as clear to me. You know, I think that was the only clear connection that I kind of put together. But I put that together on my own before this, but not having no idea that I was going to talk to you about this in any way. And I've never spoken about that to anyone else.
So would you, if you did get sick, like so would you go to the doctor, or would you just seek for somebody to lay hands on you again?
Well, I didn't go to the doctor, so I probably, if I was like really sick, of course I'd go to the doctor. But no, I wouldn't just seek someone's health healing on it in an emergency situation, or like a serious illness that was documented and doctors couldn't help. Here's another thing, though. I think my faith came into play because I asked God to give me purpose in this world, and to and I promised Him that I would listen to Him and follow His way, and that I would ask Him in return that He gives me a purpose to be here, and that He helps me live in that purpose. And so I want to believe that in that way also was my prayer, but that was like not specifically for any specific problem I had, but it was just a prayer that in order for me to do that, I believe that God wants me to be alive, so that He is interjecting and saving me in more ways than that one, but in particular that one. And that's the reason that my prayer come into that group prayer, which was separate from whatever they prayed, if they even prayed anything. But in their heart, it just felt like they were praying for me, but not because we had a private relationship, but just they were in general praying for me as just a person that just, how they would say a public prayer or whatever. But I believe that they were thinking about me because we were commenting in connection on a Facebook post.
I have a question, because you received a warning. Did you not feel that was God saying, bruh, don't buy these pills? Was that not the first interaction?
So
Can I ask one question before that? Did you pray and ask God to fix that without the pills?
No, because I wasn't a man of faith at that moment.
Okay.
When I was with my wife, we were not a man. We were not a couple of faith. We believed in the American dream. We did a good job, and she was one of my college sweethearts, but my ideal college sweetheart. And so it was kind of a, if there's a storybook, it's kind of a storybook romance that, I was able to claim. I mean, yeah. So we did meet in college, and she was my first friend in college, so it was kind of sweet. And so, no, we were not people of faith at that time. So and in fact, I didn't actually start my journey towards faith till after we got divorced. And that was one of the reasons that kind of domino affected me to say, I don't have nothing else, and let me see if God actually, who God is, because I'm in a moment that, I've kind of I lost my storybook love from the American dream, and I was basically feeling hopeless. And so that was led eventually to me giving God a chance to ask for His help in faith. And then later, that was a road that happened later after that, as I actually searched, as I actually experienced faith, or activated faith, trying to act on faith every day. But that was all a long process. So the warning, specifically the warning, why didn't I act on that even though I didn't have faith? Just because I was actually just so like distraught. We were just having problems, and it was just, you know, I was just weak. My mind, my heart, my body was just weakened from the stresses of marriage, and I just wasn't thinking clearly. If that's, that's the best way I can describe it. I was just out of my mind. You know, that's why I didn't care. I didn't pay attention to the warnings. I knew the warnings were there, and I knew I should have took them, but I just acted rashly.
So, have you asked God to fix it now, since you are a man of faith?
No, I never did specifically. No.
Okay. When did you start believing? And like, what made you think it was aliens?
I keep an open mind. I ask God through my journey of faith. I asked God that I could always be allowed to think about any and everything. In other words, that I wasn't going to be saying, no, I can't think about that, or I have to deny that right away. I said, God, I want to be able to think about every single thing possibility. So in doing so, that was one of the things I feel like I'm allowed to think about is aliens. Whereas if I was a normal Christian, because if I talk to a normal Christian like this, they'll shut me down right away. They won't even talk to me. They won't even talk to me. So, which that's why
I do like that you're open-minded. I do like that you're open-minded, and you're not you don't have this like cookie cutter explanations like that we've been hearing all night, and these like very overly confident and yes, this works, and they can't give an example of when it worked. I do think that you kind of see, you're open-minded.
So that being said, even if it's aliens, I believe that have chosen me. So they have chosen. That's why they did that for me. So on second note, it's like I do believe that I was chosen by God, but if not, that by actual aliens. So, and that's a long history. There's something else going on there, but that's just to sum it up to make a concise, quick statement on it. So it's either way, I feel like I was chosen by them, which is why they would do that for me.
Your testimonies are very entertaining.
Very what?
Entertaining.
Oh yeah, and I'm just trying to be straightforward with it. I'm not even trying to entertain, because entertaining will take so long. Because obviously, hearing about all that stuff that went down between me and my wife, there's a whole lot more to say about all of that, big long stories. But that's obviously something I'm trying to avoid. I was just trying to really just kind of be straight as possible right now in this moment, not trying to be too entertaining.
Yeah, I would rather believe that aliens exist than the God of this Bible. No lie. Like the Sumerian tablets, I said this tonight. Like, I would rather.
Well, here's what I do believe. Like I said, either way, I believe that I was chosen, and that the experience itself was real. So my chest rose for whatever reason. It didn't seem like it came from something within myself that made my chest rise. And it felt like something was entering my body that was foreign, but not something that we could describe, because it felt like it was an invisible force. It was an invisible energy. And I couldn't see it with my eyes, but I could feel it enter inside of me. It felt like a strong presence came inside of me. And so that really, I believe, really happened. Now, what that means, all this other stuff.
How do you know those women didn't send something to possess you? How do you know that?
Because I had strong faith at that moment, so I could repel any dangerous invasions. So because of faith, I believe. And then the purity of the energy. The energy was pure. When I feel like there's dangerous energy, I can sense danger. There's something that's like I got a warning system that tells me that something's dangerous or toxic.
Yeah, just like you can tell toxic people.
Yeah, exactly.
Got their
Sometimes they got that energy, that dangerous energy.
Big Bad Wolf wants to know if your marriage took a mental toll on your health.
It did. It did. It did because I relied on my own power and my own strength. And like I said, I'm big on romance. So we had this storybook kind of romance, like from college. My first girl I met in college, like, okay, we're getting married now. And then it's a longer story, but that's kind of like something we knew was true. So that part is 100% true, meaning, but as far as how much were we in love, I can't say like, oh, we were just in love from the first sight. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying what we did be. She was the first person I met in college. We became friends, and then we got married after college. So, to me, it was romantic storybook. So that really took a mental stress because I felt like that's all I had left in this world from the American dream. So I feel like that was the whole like American dream crashing into it being over, and I was still too young to to say what's next in my life. You know what I mean? I was still young, so I had kind of lost everything. Like, whoa, this is like the end of, this feels like this is the end of everything I learned in school, everything I learned in college, everything I learned in having a career 9 to 5, so what's next in life? It's like I lost everything, kind of like you lose your, you lose your wife, you lose your, lose that, you kind of lose everything. So yeah, that took a big mental stress on me. And that's why later I went and asked God for help, because I didn't feel like I had anything left from what I traditionally would believe was mainstream Americanism. And I just didn't feel like I was meant to go back and restart that life, whatever that life was from the Americanism. I felt like there was something more important I should do, and that's why my life was basically had crashed, because I was basically supposed to do something else, being called to do something else. And that's a longer story, but that's what sparked my desire to find out, ask God for help, because I had rejected him. So we rejected him. We did it all in our own strength. We were probably a good looking couple. We were probably a good looking couple together. So we definitely turned heads, and we obviously had a lot of talent. We had a lot of charisma. We had a lot of magnability, I guess, if that's a word that I can use, magnetism. So people are drawn to us, and so we had potential to do much more than what we did, but we kind of just lived the standard life, of the American dream, a standard life. We were successful within that, but we probably could have did a lot more, together, in terms of American dream part. But because of that crash, that's when I kind of gave up. When I said, before I give up, I should at least give God. That's what kind of sparked my like willingness to give God a chance, because before that I had kind of rejected God, is in terms of, and just operated on my own strength, my own like desires, my own like what I thought life was in America.
But did you get your answer?
About what?
Your calling.
Oh, I think I am. I think I'm still finding that out, but I think I am kind of getting that calling, that answer.
What is it?
To be a great leader for the people.
To lead them where?
I'm still working that out, but I think to freedom from this system that we have here in America.
Oh, okay.
Whatever the system is it, if it's the banking system, that's really running the show, whatever the true system that's running the show, that kind of feels like it's holding us hostage through bad economic policies and materialism, and it just seems like it's going to get worse. And I feel like I'm being called to lead people to freedom.
You don't see an alignment with your concerns in the Bible?
What's that?
You don't possibly see some alignment and connection with your concerns about the United States in the Bible?
Yeah, like, of course, like there's some there's some like correlations there to the Bible of what's happening today, and that seems correlated with what's written in the Bible, at least in some parts, for sure. But I still haven't asked about it all yet. So I still have to ask about a lot more stuff and kind of see if there's an answer there that I still have to. So there's still more answers for me to find before I make a. Yeah, so I still have more answers to find.
I want to be more specific because Wish A.
Huh?
I want to be more specific because I'm just going to call him Wish A because that is awesome. Because Wisha asked, so when I think of the problems in the United States, I do think of people being subjugated to oppression. Is that what you're talking about? On various levels.
Yeah,
women, children, people who are not considered I'll say in the in group. We'll keep it PG. People who are in the out group, the minorities who are actually the global majority, coincidentally enough. I see some parallels to some toxicity both within the Bible, asserting a claim over people, providing a thought process of misogyny, subjection to enslavement, subjection to oppression throughout the Bible as I read it. That's what I meant, Wish A. The last part of your name is awesome.
The what? I didn't hear that last part. What did you say? You said something was awesome?
Was that clear, what I'm asking?
I thought you said something was awesome. The last part, what did you say? Is that what you said?
It's Wish A, and then you kind of have the rest for yourself because I can't.
Okay, so yeah, so I'm interested in freeing the people, and I'm asking God. Of course, I'm still learning, and I'm still asking, and I'm still actually maturing. Because I'm still immature sometimes before God, not before anybody specifically here and on earth, but before what I learned about God. And so I still have a lot to do to be mature, and then a lot more to learn about what it is I want to do. But some of the ideas I have is, freeing the people like Moses freed the Israelites, and then like Joseph was able to help provide food through the famine. Huh?
What did he free the Israelites from?
According to the Bible, this is the source I'm using, he freed them from the Egyptians, from slavery in Egypt.
Oh, they were enslaved in Egypt?
Yes.
In historically, they were enslaved? Historically, not your Bible. Historically, the Egyptians have a record of this?
I haven't independently checked it, but I'm just using the source of the Bible. And then maybe one of the book of Jasher, which is not exactly in the Bible, but it's probably just close enough to be in the Bible. So those are the only sources I have. About it, and a general idea that Egyptian did probably enslave people that came because I know there's a lot, but there's so much history with Egypt. It's like thousands of years, so I couldn't possibly understand all of that, especially when the knowledge.
So I got another question for you. How do you feel about God giving the Israelites the green light to conduct chattel slavery?
Okay.
On the Canaanites.
On the Canaanites, or just in general, anybody that was enslaved, right?
Anybody who's not Hebrew. How you feel about that?
Let me think. I want to think if I've asked this question. I haven't really specifically asked that question. Independently of whatever is written, I'm aware that what's written. I'm aware of that that it's in there. But I don't think I've ever had. I haven't had the moment. I haven't taken the moment yet to inquire about that, to think about it more, to ask if there's any revelations or any. I mean, I do have a question. I have questions for God that I'm asking. So that's like a question I would ask before God. I would present that in a prayer. So because of this, I might actually do that at another time myself, present it before Him in a prayer to ask Him about that.
So I like the way that you approach things, but I think my main concern, my main question would be, when you start your ministry, for what you feel that you are, here on this earth for, and I'm all for letting my people go, the freedom, but what I'm trying to figure out is a part of the freedom indoctrinating them into this text.
That has been a major source of my enlightenment. The text, yes. We're talking about the traditional Bible text, right? That's what I'm talking about.
Any issues with the Bible at all?
I have used that as my source of enlightenment, or as a source of enlightenment, and also to increase my faith, and to connect with other people of faith, like other people I can trust in faith, like those women of God who theoretically, who prayed for me. Theoretically, they didn't tell me they did, but I felt like they did. I connected to them through the Bible, because they were proclaiming, the Bible is their book of faith and being Christians. So, yes, definitely there's something in the Bible that I think is an important record that we have to. However, I'm not an absolutist with the Bible, so I don't believe that the Bible is infallible. So, and that's why it's important for me to always ask God for revelation and for confirmation, and to ask Him those hard questions from the Bible.
Now, what if He comes back and says He thought that was the right thing to do, and He still thinks it's the right thing to do? Would that be contradictory to your mission?
So, that's a trick in my mind that I have to play, right? Because if we're talking about aliens, then now I'm playing a dangerous game with aliens, right? And if I'm playing a dangerous game with aliens, I might not have a choice, right? If the aliens are supreme in their abilities, or if they're just tricking me in my mind and they're not supreme, right? Because if it's aliens, right? If the Bible, it really is an alien book that's written to kind of control us, then that would make sense why there's slavery, right? Because aliens possibly are using us as slaves, right? Or at least using us as are dominant, or being dominant over us. That's at least some of the things I thought about. But as far as, that's a question I still have to answer for myself, is there something I could question God on in terms of what's right and what's wrong? So, in terms of some of the things that are in the Bible that seem wrong, like slavery, that's a question I'm still thinking about and asking God about. Like, what am I really standing for? Because the idea is I'm standing for righteousness. I'm standing for the good of humankind, and that there's a higher alignment with a higher being's purpose, which is called God, but which in some ways could be manifested through aliens as just their manifestation of themselves upon the earth, and in their desire to kind of maneuver us through through our lives and through our history.
Wouldn't God and Jesus be aliens anyway? So I think you could just go ahead and define that part, right? Because they would be aliens anyway.
Right. So I did ask God about the American Indians, and I asked him about African slavery.
Oh no. Oh.
I don't know if that's related. No.
What do the American Indians have to do with aliens?
No, I asked God why is there such genocide? Why was there such terror, slavery, and stuff? If why did God allow that?
So who are you calling are you talking about the Native Americans? You're not talking about the Africans that were enslaved here. You're not calling them the American.
No, well, as far as I know, in what I'm speaking of is two separate groups. I'm talking about the American Indians. That's what I just learned to call them that from school. Native Americans. I know it's so that's who I'm talking about. And then also Africans who were taken from Africa and enslaved here, or enslaved in general. So I asked about those atrocities to God.
What did he say?
I haven't gotten an answer yet. So I'm still searching for an answer. I'm still asking for an answer.
So he didn't respond to you when you asked him about the atrocities?
He did not respond. I don't feel like I need to. Yeah, I don't feel like I have a response yet. No.
Are you looking for him to say that it was wrong, or are you looking for him to tell you to justify it for you? I'm looking for.
I'm just looking for revelation on it of truth, whatever that truth is. I don't feel like I have it.
What do you feel about it? How do you feel about the genocide and the slavery that happened on this land?
I mean, it seems terrible. Terror, like torture. It seems like a terrible torture. Like, it seems like we're being tortured on this planet, and then, obviously some of those groups faced the atrocities that they faced, and it seems like torture. It seems like terror.
So when you say
that hurt me because that scared me.
Do you feel like it was wrong?
Well, yeah, torture is wrong and terror is bad. So to terrorize people is bad, and to torture them is bad.
So don't you have your answer?
I have my answer for myself, but I wanted to find out what their answer was.
But wouldn't your morals wouldn't be higher than the God you serve, right?
Well, it depends. If they're it depends on who they are.
So you feel that God can justify it?
Not that it can justify it, but that I can't speak for him. That's why I'm asking for him to tell me what's going on. I don't feel like he's giving me an answer.
When did you first ask him?
That was a couple years ago.
And he hasn't answered you yet because he's not going to, because you may have already gotten your answer within you, right? Your answer could be that you know it's wrong, and the God that you serve is in you and has already answered that for you. Or it could be that if you're looking for this God in the Israelite Bible, that God ain't finna justify it. That God ain't finna tell you nothing because he ain't got to answer you.
So I did choose faith in the Bible, the Israelite Bible God, Yahweh, and then Jesus. I know some Christians are saying that Jesus and Yahweh are the same, Father and Son. So I did choose faith. Recently, I am starting to question that due to the imposing forces of the other nations that imposed their God upon Israel. So it seems that God kind of got mocked and kind of basically lost, the battle in some regards. So I'm talking to him about that now. But like I said, I still need to ask more about that. But as far as that's why I did ask about the torture and terror, of the atrocities.
You don't see the enforcement of the Israelites God onto people in that area and then outside of it?
No, I was saying that I chose when I started my search for faith. I kind of believed in the Israelite God, Yahweh, and Jesus.
But do you believe in that God now?
I'm asking more questions about that. I have my doubts that I'm asking about. So I'm open-mindedly asking about that. In my mind, it seems logical and reasonable that it's not a true God, specifically written, specifically as our history on Earth dictates, and that obviously there's parts of it about him also conquering the land that doesn't make sense in terms of righteousness. You know what I mean? That doesn't seem right, the right thing to do. And so I have to ask more questions about that to see who I'm speaking to. Because this all could be a part of my activation. And I was just thinking about that before I even spoke to y'all. That it's very possible that before the aliens want to speak to us, that they want us to go through a serious series of development that so that's possibly what I was asking. Perhaps they're testing me or teaching me or allowing me to choose along the way as well, with this kind of process to go through before I'm prepared to be able to know more or speak to them in a more concrete way, as far as that I would identify as a human with being true, because all of this is, of course, is operating outside of my human reason and logic, or and my senses as a human, and it's really operating in this 10th dimension, or this spiritual world, sort of being like there's something that I know that's there, but I can't understand it from my physical world, like from my physical minds. But it's somehow the knowledge is like the revelations come. And so, yeah, I'm still asking about all that, but I
just feel if you do not agree with the things that God did, and you feel like they are wrong, I'm not sure how you are going to find right in that God.
I didn't want to jump to a judgment. I wanted to go through more and more of the Bible, and I couldn't do that all in, the first moment I questioned the atrocity. So I did question the atrocities. That was one of the first things I questioned. Actually, more so the atrocities that I know to be more fact, which is what happened in our country, our United States country, the American country. Those are kind of like, I take those as more facts because they happen to, like, we learned about that in school. As far as the Israelite stuff happening, I don't really, obviously someone can come and say it never happened or whatever. I'm not going to sit there and debate nobody on that specifically. But I know the American atrocities, I believe, happened.
Stuff. That land occupation with the Canaanites and the Assyrians, the Rome, the Byzantine Empire, the Ottoman Empire, all that happened.
Well, see, that's why it also lends my logical, reasonable thought process, because I do believe there's a higher being that's directing it. I don't believe that humans are capable of developing what we've developed without their help, civilization or whatnot, or whatever it is that we can describe. I don't believe that we're completely capable of that. So, in other words, I do believe there's some outside help that we're getting, and so from my human logic and reason is that it's aliens. If I'm the aliens, I thought about that too, and that's just something that's getting harder and harder for me to be able to talk about, because then we're talking about allegiances. I'm an alien, or I'm a mixed breed. Possibly. Obviously, that's the official story of the alien story that we kind of believe. That we've heard, is that they mix their DNA with some of us on this earth, or some type of animals on this earth, to create humans. And so then either some of us have more alien DNA, or whatever reason we're enlightened in some way, or we're able to, they've chosen us to connect with in certain ways. I don't know. That's why you get the topic like NPC, sheep. In the Bible, it calls people sheep. Y'all know about that, right? So it's basically saying these people are helpless and they need like a leader, a shepherd to shepherd them, which is like a leader to maneuver them. So in other words, like some of us are enlightened to be leaders among the sheep, to lead them in the way in which Jesus wants us to lead them. And now the official statement from the Bible is it's based on love and intimacy. So I'm exploring love and intimacy. So basically what I would want to free...
You see love in that Bible? You see love and intimacy in that Bible?
So I'm still, praying, obviously, learning more, but I would say that there is something about love and faith in the Bible for sure. There's a story about love and faith for sure.
Yeah, that Bible was used to colonize the world.
Well, there's definitely parts about that. Yeah.
If you read it, it literally has the plans in that Bible to colonize. So when it says, "My sheep hear my voice," go into the lost sheep, like that's literally not for that text. It's for the deity or the imperialist.
But now that I am, let's look at me as the victim of imperialism, right? I feel victimized also by civilization being this dominating force upon me that imposes itself upon me, and now I better, live according to what they tell me to do in that way, right? So from that perspective, there's a story of love to be able to survive within this imperialist country, right? For me to be at peace. Well, for me not to be like, have a heart attack and just die right now in terror. That's what I'm trying to say. And from my perspective, so it gets so scary, right? If we believe that that's what's happening, then there's a moment that you have to decide to fight to death right away, right? Because I mean, if somebody's capturing me, if I'm captured in some way, and then I'm forced to do something I don't want to do, then I have a choice to make right away. Like, am I going to fight back right now? Like when the cops come and tell me something, or when the government comes and tells me something, and I just for some reason I don't agree. I don't. Am I going to just disagree right there and stand up for myself right then and there? And I've decided that I need to comply at least in most regards. And then in those regards, I need to kind of see what, kind of search and understand what's happening.
So you didn't have to make a hypothetical. What you described happened to people.
Well, it happens to me too.
No.
As far as I know.
It happened to people, I mean people were taken to another location and forced to do labor because those people didn't have weapons and another group of people did. So I'm confused on why you created a hypothetical for something that happened to groups of people already.
So there's two separate things going on here. Then the first one is what happened to Africans, and as far as I know, I don't know who it all happened to, but I know for sure Africans that were forced here, enslaved here, and whatever else happened, all the atrocities that go along with that. And then also the Native Americans. And that did not happen to me. As far as I know, I'm European, and I follow the story of the Europeans in my case. But what I'm saying today, as far as in my personal experience, the imposition of civilization upon me in my day-to-day life. If I walk outside right now, I encounter a government official and they order me to do something. In that moment, I have to make it, and that happens to me, whenever that happens, I have to make a decision to completely comply with them in whatever way they've instructed me to comply, or face their consequences of I think taking me to jail, or telling me I'm arrested or detained, and in other words, in that moment, I feel like I have substantial authority within my own independence as a person to resist and to say no. But in that moment, I believe that I would be defeated and crushed, as far as I know, or at least I believe that, through capture, which would be more punishment and more or potential, even the ending of my own life through that process. So what I'm saying is, for my own decision every single day, when I go out and face a governmental authority, in my belief, I believe I've chosen to comply and follow their instructions, and so I can understand, so I can learn more about what's happening.
I have a question for you, because this is interesting. Let's just say, for instance, I knew I was speeding. I get pulled over. I knew I was speeding. The cop comes and they pull me over because I was speeding. And they say, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" And I say, "I was." And they say, "Can you give me your license?" I'm like, "Cool." I give them my license. At this point, why am I doing what they say?
I'm doing what they say because of fear of consequence.
Well, I'm doing what they say because they're not wrong. I was speeding, and my speeding could harm and endanger other people. So, like, I'm curious to know what kind of interactions you're talking about you have, because you seem to kind of evaded a couple of questions, and I'm seeing an evasion of accountability. And when I see it, I like to call it out. So, like, because in my mind, speeding can kill people. So, right. So if I get pulled over for speeding and someone says, "You know why you got pulled over?" I'm going to say, "Yes, I was speeding." I'm going to be honest. And guess what? I got out of more tickets being that person than anyone I know. And it's because I was honest when I got pulled over. Like, just, I was speeding.
So not everything. Right. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
My question to you is, like, in what situation are you involved with these government officials? As I am a government official, but not giving orders to civilian folks. That's not my job. But what type of interaction are you having with government officials that causes you to want to resist? Like, are you not doing anything wrong and then they're just coming to you? Or are you adamantly doing things you know you shouldn't do and then they're doing their job?
Well, okay, so I don't really want to like get too far off in this. However, there's many parts of an answer to this that's really like I'm going to try to sum it up and to just say, in general, there's always a question of, like you said, what right does the government have to exist and then impose laws upon anyone? This is what I'm saying for myself. So I have a question about what right does the United States or whatever government jurisdiction is claiming authority, be it the local city cops or the federal government or whatever jurisdiction or whatever agency that's claiming jurisdiction over me. What authority do they have for that jurisdiction? What law did they make? Rule or law did they make? What is the process involved in that? What is their performance like? What kind of government are they? What is their just kind of all these questions that involve whether or not the government is doing what they say they're doing, that they're supposed to be doing, and whether or not they're doing it. It's just kind of like a performance, kind of like the cop with the radar. He's checking your speed to see if you're complying with the rule. So I'm kind of checking the government to see if they're complying with their claimed authority to exist, and then the laws and the rules that they make in their governmental systems, whether or not they're kind of declaimed actions that they have taught me in school that we have agreed to through this governmental process. And in the many, it's obviously too complex to discuss, to talk about every government agency or whatever here, but we're talking about just what authority do they have, what authority are they claiming, what rule or law are they talking about, what rule or law they are enforcing, what are the penalties, what is the fairness of the system. Like, I didn't participate, but I definitely saw on TV the Black Lives Matter well, I don't even know what to call them. I'm just going based on what the news said, protests or whatever. I'm not saying I know what to call them, but that's what I heard them called. And I certainly saw behaviors within our government that seemed kind of like that they were unjust and violent, and it seemed like they were the actual criminals. And so that's a question that I have to ask myself about. Did we give the authority to those police to act in that manner? And if I didn't give them consent or authority, then who has given them consent or authority, and what process are they using to do that? And in which way did I agree to participate that and agree to submit to that? And how did I submit to that? And how did I agree that I would abide by that? And I think there's just some of the few questions I have to ask. So when I talk about my own stuff, I'm not talking about a basic, I'm going 10 miles over the speed limit, the cop pulls me over, I'm resisting. But obviously I'm talking about, that's not something that bothers me personally, to comply. But I would certainly say that it's still within the same answer, question and answer for myself is, what authority has been granted to that police officer to patrol the highway, where are the laws and rules that he's enforcing coming from? How is he operating? Is he operating in a judicial manner, or are they corrupt? Are they falsifying records? Are they lying, making false testimonies in court? Are the judges protecting them? Are the district attorneys lying about their government officers? Are their performance records publicly available? Are we able to look to make our own decision about that cop and his performance and what his qualifications are to pull someone over? Or are they hiding that information from us? And stuff like that. Those are just some of the general questions I would ask myself in general. And then but in particular, what I'm saying is I do comply. That's what I was telling you. I comply because I know that not complying, or at least I believe that this is the truth, that not complying means that the penalties of and consequences escalate. And so those escalations seem to be the deprivation of my free, or at least what I would think is my freedom, which means could possibly taking me, a handcuffing me and taking me to jail. And also, through, deadly force, if that's something that, which they did, which they have used before. So it's a possibility that I'm aware of. And so I'm simply researching government, researching authority, researching the people, and seeing what it is that we want and expect from our government, and have they gone too far.
I respect that answer.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm about to go to bed. I'm so tired. I've been on since 6:30. Yeah, I've been on since 6:30 last night.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I got a chance to come on. You got a podcast too? Okay.
I have a podcast appearance tomorrow with Dave's podcast. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Dan, because I actually listened to Dan's podcast. I was like, oh my God, we'll be all excited. But if you tell, which podcast, because I do listen to podcasts.
It's Dave Capoli. I gotta pull up my email to get the name of his podcast, but I'll share it when it goes live. But tomorrow's just a recording.
Well, good luck. Hope you have a good time.
Thank you. I can get my thoughts together. Huh?
Don't Cat Williams us. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But thank y'all so much. Everybody. Lala, thank you. Nancy, Michelle, thank you, Zion, for...
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
You too.
You too.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Big Bad Wolf.